Today we'll have Christine's 16-person April Disney World trip. That's coming up on this episode 513 of WDW Prep to Go. Hello and welcome to WDW Prep to Go, where we talk strategy and ideas for people planning their Disney trips. I'm your host, Shannon Albert from WDWPrepSchool.com. Thank you for being here for episode 513. Today is another trip report, and this was a very informative one for me. I think having 16 people just adds a whole other layer of planning to what you would do for your own immediate family. And I am just fascinated by the logistics of it. So I'm going to have that in just a minute. As always, a reminder to follow on social media. And if you want to be a guest like Christine, the only way to do that is to use the SpeakPipe information in the show notes of every episode. You leave a voicemail, and if it works out with the schedule, somebody in my team will reach out to you to get you scheduled. Speakpipe.com/WDWPrep2Go. You can do it on laptop or on mobile. Either one will work. And we do get a lot of submissions, so go ahead and submit it, but don't get your feelings hurt if you're not chosen. We can only choose a few per month, and we try to pick ones that are different and unique and haven't been represented before. We try to mix it up. So that's what we're looking for. Feel free to leave a message there if you would like. And now let's talk about my conversation with Christine. First of all, we do talk about Spirit Air. They flew Spirit Air. We have a pretty good fast turnaround on these episodes, but we were not fast enough to get it out before Spirit closed down. So they did use Spirit Air. Just know that it was recorded before the shutdown. And the other thing is, I would like you to try to keep track of how much you think Christine's immediate family spent on the trip, because at the end, she shares the total. So her immediate family is her husband, and 4 children. So the 6 people, how much you think they spent, and then see how close you get with the total at the end. So without any further ado, here are my chats with Christine. Welcome to the podcast, Christine.
Thanks, Shannon. Happy to be here.
We are talking on Saturday, April 11th, and I just heard from you that you're going to Disney World.
Yes, we are. We leave April 17th, next Friday.
Okay, until when?
Saturday, April 25th.
Okay. And who's we?
So it's a big trip. There's 16 of us going. So it's me and my husband, Jason, and our 4 kids. And they are 16, 14, 11, and 9. Then it's my mom and dad, who are in their late 60s. And then my 2 sisters and their families. So my middle sister, Michelle, her wife, Anna, and their 2 kids, who are 6 and 4, Christina and Gavin. And then my youngest sister, Kathleen, her husband, CJ, and their 2 kids, Scarlett and Aiden, who are 2 and 4 months. So 8 adults, 8 kids.
But wait, you just said 4 months.
Yes.
That adds a whole new layer to it, because newborns are thing. So when this trip was booked, that child was not even born.
No, I don't even know, because we've been planning this trip for a while. I'm not even sure if she was pregnant yet.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Christine, 16 people.
Yes.
Are you the planner for everyone?
Yes. And it's been a lot of fun, honestly. I've listened to you for 10 years. Mm-hmm. Actually, when I was pregnant with Rachel, who's my youngest, my 9-year-old, that's when we went on our first trip. And I started listening to you. And yeah, this, I think, is our 5th trip together as a family. So
okay.
not in these numbers, but yeah, as my immediate family.
Okay. But I have no doubt that you know what you are talking about. But planning for 16 people has its own level of challenges. And then, as I can't remember which recent guest it was, but it was a very recent guest who said one of the challenges with groups is that when you're the one that knows stuff and other people don't, then they rely on you.
Yes.
So is there anyone else that knows what they are doing, or are they going to be relying on you?
We've had a couple of meetings. We've had a couple of learning sessions with the app to kind of walk people through it, because I know with 16 people, we can't all stay together the whole time with, teenagers down to babies. It would be impossible. So I've tried to structure the trip in a way that in the morning when we rope drop, we do a few things together that everyone can do. And then it's kind of open until we have a table service reservation in the early evening around 4 or 5. And then we do a few more things all together. And then we kind of split up again.
Okay. So there's some flexibility built in if people want to do some
Oh, yeah.
different things.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Good. So is everybody living in the same city or are people coming in from different places?
So my family of 6, we're the only ones that don't live with everybody else. We live in Charlotte, North Carolina, and they all live in Massachusetts.
Okay. So 2 groups
Mhm.
essentially coming in.
Yep.
And everybody flying or some people driving?
No, we're all flying. They're actually all taking different flights on the way down. And and actually my family were taking 2 different flights on the way down too. We're flying Spirit and they kept canceling our flight. And yeah, so me and 3 of the kids are flying earlier in the day. And then my husband and son are flying out on a later flight.
Okay, so bottom line, everybody's flying in. I forgot to ask, how did you pick this time of year to go with this group? How is everyone available right now?
Sure. So my mom and my middle sister both work in the school system up in Massachusetts. So this is their spring break.
Okay,
And we've kind of always taken family trips at this time of year. Normally we go to Outer Banks, but
that's easy for you.
yeah, it's quite a distance, but yeah, it's easier than them driving down. And the kids we thought were at a good age. So yeah, we've been talking about it for a few years and we just pulled the trigger this year.
Okay, so on Friday, April 17th, people are flying in on 27 different flights.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, and then where are you guys staying?
We are staying at All Star Music in the family suites. We have 4 rooms.
All 4 All-Star Music Suites?
Yes.
Okay, there aren't that many of those.
I mean, we have it booked.
No, I believe you, but I think maybe you might have booked them all.
Maybe. We do have a travel agent that we've been working with who I've used. She's a friend of mine. So she thinks we have it all set.
Yeah, no, it's great because the suites give you like little apartments and they're in the preferred location.
Mhm.
So you have that. Like it's the best bang for the buck, I think. But I just booking 4 of them, I'm like, oh, you just scooped up the inventory. Like that's kind of fun.
We were considering Art of Animation, but just the cost difference. And
Mhm.
really we liked the little kitchen area.
Mm.
I was concerned about, with the little kids and beverage coolers it not working. So the refrigerator.
Kitchen's much better in these, and like you said, cheaper.
Yeah.
So that's really nice, and you have 2 full baths
Yeah.
per unit. I don't know. I just love this idea. Okay, so once you fly in, you were eventually all going to end up at All Star Music Suites. How were you getting between the 2?
Yeah, a couple different ways. So 2 of my sisters are both taking private cars. I am taking Mears with 3 of my kids. My parents are taking an Uber. And my husband and son are taking a private car. So mostly private car.
It's a real mix.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, you all ended up at All Star Music Suites. Great.
Yes.
And I'm going to make a guess that maybe food delivery is involved.
Yes. So I have a Walmart Plus subscription. So I'm giving out my login. We're probably, because of time of day, we might get it delivered Saturday morning. One of my sisters is not coming until 11:30 at night with her 2 kids. So they're definitely going to be Saturday morning delivery for food.
You could get it delivered and hold it for?
I mean, we could. I think that's just their preference that they want it Saturday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe they do. Okay. Okay. So is there any plans on this arrival day other than just getting into the hotel and stuff?
Yeah. I mean, I've looked at the resort activities and I've wrote down. So I have a whole color coded spreadsheet for for everyone. And
imagine that.
And so I wrote down a few things. There's s'mores. I heard in one of your recent episodes that the arcade is free during tournament times. So if we have people that want to do that, the silent discos that night. So we might get up to a few things at the resort, but just at the resort.
I don't know if you saw somebody posted in the patron Facebook group, hey, I'm really glad that they mentioned that arcade thing because we're here now and we're playing games for free. And so I just love seeing that stuff catch on like, hey, we don't have to pay for the arcade. And you have big groups, so you can just say, "Hey, go play."
Yep. Yep. And I have two older, my older kids, so they
Mhm.
love arcade games. And my husband too. He loves it.
Are they retro to kids?
He's kind of built in the retro into them, like with original Nintendo and Sega
Okay.
Genesis, so they like all that stuff.
Mhm. Okay. So, are you ready to talk about what Saturday, April
Sure.
18th is like?
Yep. So this day is actually going to also be a resort day because of everyone coming in a little bit later. We just wanted, since we live away from them, we kind of wanted to
Mhm.
stay to see everybody. The kids love the pool, so that's the plan. My dad, he doesn't normally require any mobility assistance, but we are going to rent an ECV for him. So I do have that scheduled to Kingdom strollers to drop off that
Did you
morning.
did you just say he normally doesn't do this, but you're
Right.
just doing it for this trip? So,
Yeah.
talk me through this conversation because this feels tricky. Like, how did you say, "Hey, Dad, I think you might need some help," or did he say it?
I think I did. I probably talked to my mom and my sisters, like, in conversations here and there, dropping hints, and then I think at one of our meetings we've had in the past 6 months, somebody just recommended it, and he was like, "Oh, yeah, that actually sounds like a good idea." Because I think if he wasn't in a scooter that he would, go back to the resort after an hour maybe of walking around, but this, he'll be able to stay as long as he wants with the ECV.
Yeah, and I just think it can be really difficult for people that aren't used to that, like,
Yep.
to accept it, but I mean, it's
Right.
just a reality, like, "Hey, how do you feel about walking 10 plus miles a day?"
Yeah. He doesn't take himself too seriously, so
Okay,
he kind of
good.
thinks it's a joke.
Okay, so on this non-park day, you've got an ECV delivery for your dad.
Yep. And then pool, we have some more activities written down for the all-star music. We also have a 1900 Park Fair reservation at 5:25 for all of us.
And how are you getting there?
I plan to do bus to Magic Kingdom and then monorail to Grand Floridian. And then on the way back, either reverse or depending on how the kids are doing, some families might take a minivan.
Okay. All right. I gotta ask about the logistics because I'm just curious how you get 16 people from point A to point B.
Right.
But Disney registration is available.
Yeah.
So, okay. Okay. So that's going to be a nice chill day.
Yes.
So I guess Sunday, April 19th is probably a park day.
Yes. Sunday is Animal Kingdom. And for the most part, we're rope droppers, but this was a very early start with 7:30 and me saying, "Oh, you have to be at the bus at 6 a.m." So we're not rope dropping, or not all of us are rope dropping that day. We have a lightning lane for Kilimanjaro Safari, and we plan to meet there at 8:30.
So I do have a question.
Mhm.
Lightning lanes.
Yeah,
How,
3,300
how do we 3,300?
Yes, for all of us.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. So you are using lightning lanes for all the parks for all the people.
Yes, there's only one. It's our second Magic Kingdom day that not everyone has multi-pass, and not everyone is doing single pass depending on their height or their preference to ride a roller coaster or not, but most days, everyone has multi-pass and at least one most people have one single pass lightning lane.
And was this a tough sell to like say,
Ye
hey, we're talking about our trip and $3,000 is just going to be for us to shorten our wait times?
Well, really, because my family's 6, the majority of it comes to me,
Oh,
that cost.
you are a big chunk.
Yeah, yeah, so no, it wasn't a hard sell. When I posed this trip, I think I told them, like, "We're gonna do it, and we're gonna do it right, and we're gonna spend the money to make it a good trip," and that's what we're doing.
Okay. I'm always fascinated. Groups just introduce so many different elements, which
Yeah.
is different budgets. People think different things are important, et cetera. So, but if you are using light lanes at Epcot, it makes it pretty easy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, we're at Animal Kingdom this day, but yeah,
That's
we're
what I meant. What did I say?
Epcot.
I meant Animal Kingdom.
Yeah.
Yes. Animal Kingdom with lightning lanes. It doesn't
Yeah.
really matter if you rope drop or not.
Right, I was originally saying, "Oh, we don't need lightning lanes, we'll just rope drop," but then that 6 AM meeting at the bus, I
Mm,
was like, "Let's just do the lightning lanes and it'll be a easier morning."
you can do whatever.
Yeah. So we're doing Kilimanjaro Safari, then we have a lightning lane for, Festival of the Lion King, And then right after that, we have a lightning lane for Navi River Journey. Then we have a dining reservation at 11:30 at Rainforest Cafe for all of us. And then we have a single pass lightning lane at 1:05 for Avatar Flight of Passage for most of us. Not everyone's tall enough to do that, and some people just didn't want to ride that.
So you, Miss Planner and Spreadsheet,
Yeah.
were you the ones that have you booked your lightning lanes?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yesterday.
was it yesterday? Okay. So with all these different groups of people, like the booking process.
Yeah, so what I did probably back in the summertime when I was trying to think through this, because it was overwhelming at first, I came up with 3 groups. So we
Mhm.
have the thrill seekers, which is
Mhm.
mostly like my husband and my older kids. We have paparazzi, who my younger daughter, Rachel, she wants to meet all the characters, and she's not really into thrill rides. So that's paparazzi. Her and her cousin, her 6-year-old cousin, Christina, they want to meet all the characters. So that's that group. And then we have Disney Junior. And Disney Junior is the kids that really don't meet any of those thrill ride height requirements. So I kind of was able to think about it in those 3 groups and plan accordingly.
Okay. So when it came time to book lightning lanes, you literally had different like transactions for
Yeah.
all these different
Yes, I did.
groups.
Yep.
Okay. The logistics of this fascinate me, just how you pull it off. Okay. So on this day, some people have flight of passage lightning lanes.
Yep. Mhm. And that, I mean, every single day, me and Rachel are kind of so this before Safari, we're getting in to meet Nick and Judy right away. And like your I'm going to have to go back through and do all your character finding tool because I've done it my way. And that was one of the things I ran into with the characters. It's like if you go into the app now, you're
Mhm.
not going to see the morning times for characters. So I really had to figure it
Yeah.
out.
And as of
Was
the
good
moment we're talking, the character tool has only been out for a few days. So I'm glad that it was out because we always run into the same thing that you're talking about, which is we cannot capture all of these character times. So we made
Yes.
our own tool to do it.
Yeah. And that's awesome.
Yes,
It'll help a
especially
lot.
for that character paparazzi group that you've
Yeah.
got. The
Yep.
paparazzi group is going to meet Mick and Judy.
Yep. Nick and Judy, Doug and Russell. We have a whole list. And
Okay.
then the Avatar Flight of Passage is the last thing for the day that we're doing as a group. So people, I think, oh yeah, Animal Kingdom's open till 8 that night. So I might want to take a break and come back and see it at night because I've never seen Animal Kingdom at night. So
Okay.
that's
But so this is what you were talking about earlier, which is you've got some plans for part of the day and then it's more open for the rest.
Mhm.
So after this, everyone gets to decide.
Yes. Yep. Exactly.
Okay. So you might go back that night.
Hmm. I definitely want to ride Expedition Everest, and Rachel doesn't, but she's sitting right there. But I'll do thrill rides where she doesn't. So
Okay. All right. I got it. Any other like plans or anything to talk about on this day?
no, nothing specific. No.
Okay. Then what are the plans for Monday, April 20th?
Okay, so we're definitely going to lightning lane, and I've been listening to the trip report, like the one that came out this week with their with Epcot Day and like Frozen.
This is an Epcot. This is an Epcot day.
Yes, Epcot. Frozen was down. I think Guardians was down. So we'll see what happens. But our plan right now is to rope drop test track, then Frozen Ever After, hopefully still within early entry. Then right away meet Anna and Elsa. And those 3 things we'll kind of do all as a group. Even though some of us can't do test track, I've kind of planned things out for the littlest ones. There's a neat playground near test track that they can do. Then we have 9:30 lightning lane for Remy, which we probably won't use till about 11, but I wanted it there early just in case test track or Frozen Ever After is closed. Then we can go right away to Remy and try to book another tier 1.
Mhm.
And that's kind of our plans for the morning. And then we have dinner at Coral Reef at 4 p.m. for all 16 of us. Then we'll do some of the land, living with the land, Soarin'. We have lightning lanes for those 2. And then some of us have a lightning lane at 6:35 for Guardians. And then it's kind of open after that. But me and my husband and my sister and my middle sister and her wife are going to Magic Kingdom after hours that night.
Okay. Did you say you're on that list?
Yes, me and
Okay.
Jason. Yeah.
Okay. You and your husband.
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever done an after hours event?
No, and it was of your encouragement during one of your YouTube lives that we decided to book it. I mean, it's expensive, and I wanted to do it with all the kids, but I'm thinking I can't afford this with all the kids. So it's just special for mom and dad.
It's just one of the best things that Disney does, I think.
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
Okay. So you and some others in your group are going to be able to do Magic Kingdom after hours. So fun.
Yep.
All right. I want to ask about making dining reservations for 16.
Sure. Mhm.
You had to break them into smaller groups.
Yeah. So me and my sister-in-law, Anna, she was the one that really helped me make the dining reservations. We pretty much split it right down the middle, 8 and 8. And she was on with me, 60 days ahead of time, making all these with me. So that's what we did. She has half of them. I have the other half of 8.
Okay, great. Got it. Okay, because sometimes that's tricky. Even, groups of 10 will be like, how do I do this? And you just have to break it into smaller groups usually.
Yep.
All right. Are you ready to talk about Tuesday, April 21st?
Sure. So Tuesday is a non-park day. We have reservations for all 16 of us at Topolino's Terrace at 10 a.m. And I'm thinking we will get there, bus to Hollywood Studios, Skyliner to the Riviera.
Okay. Thank you for throwing that in because I was going to ask. It makes sense to use the transportation when you have so many people that need to get there.
Yeah. And I think the Skyliner's cool, and I think the little kids will enjoy it. And that was one thing that my husband was like, can we please do the Skyliner? I said, sure.
And we're going to end up at Topolino's.
Yeah. We've never done Topolino, so we're excited.
Okay, good. Well, I have high hopes that this one will be a hit with the group.
And then we want to go to Disney Springs. So we're going to do bus from Riviera to Disney Springs. I guess that's how we would do it. Right? Yeah. Okay. And we have the Lego store minifigure build. We have appointments at 1 and 1:30 for my kids and my sister Michelle's kids.
Okay. And is all 16 people are going to Disney Springs, but just some people are doing the minifigs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
What else do you want to do in Disney Springs?
And then, so my oldest is a junior, and his school has some absence restrictions if you want to be exempt from your exams, and he miscalculated his absences. So Tuesday, me and him are going to visit a college for a college tour. We're going to Dave's School of Digital Arts. It's on the soundstage of Universal. So we're going to leave right from Disney Springs, probably after their minifigure build, and do that for an hour. Just take an Uber over there. And the rest of them can shop to their heart's content.
Wait, but explain this to me again. What is this college tour?
So he's only allowed 5 absences per quarter. So because he's taking school off this whole week, and he accidentally took a day, it was a half day, and he was absent from a course. So if he does a college tour, it's considered an excused absence. So it doesn't count against his absences. So he'll still be exempt from his final exam. We just get to do his college tour. Yeah.
Okay. Great. I can tell you that in 500 and some episodes, I don't think that's ever come up.
It was my idea. People are looking at me funny, like, you're going on a college tour. It's like, it was my idea. He's a kid. He doesn't ask me for a lot. So if I can help him be exempt from an exam, I want to do it for him. So,
okay. Great. What else on this day?
That's it. That's all our plans.
Okay. It's Wednesday, April 22nd.
Okay. Hollywood Studios. We're rope dropping again. We have a 9:15 Lightning Lane for Slinky Dog, 9:45 for Rise of the Resistance. And this is where our Lightning Lanes got a little wonky because Rachel doesn't want to do Slinky Dog. So I booked for us, me and her, a 10:05 for Millennium Falcon, and then an 11:25 for me and her for Toy Story Mania. And then the rest of the group has a 12:15 at Tower of Terror.
People are out here trying to get Slinky Dog Dash in the morning, and you got it for this big of a group.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
pretty good. That's
I
good.
know. It was crazy.
Mhm.
And then Jack he wants to see some movie that night. He can do what he wants. So he wanted to go to Oga's Cantina. So I booked him a reservation of 1 at 1:10 p.m. for Oga's Cantina. And then
Mhm.
he's probably going to head out to Disney Springs to watch his movie. He also has another reservation that evening at 8:45 at Raglan Road by himself.
And who is Jack?
Jack is my 17-year-old.
Okay. So the 17-year-old is going to Oga's and a movie?
Yep. Oga's, a movie, and then Raglan Road all by himself.
Okay.
And
You
then then at 3:50, all of us, the rest of us, have a reservation for Sci-Fi Diner, and it's the Fantasmic dining package.
Okay. Everyone's gonna get in their cars and
Yep.
face face the screens as a group. Okay.
And then my other son, my 11-year-old Sean, he has a Droid Depot reservation for that night at 6:30.
Okay.
And then I have a second Oga's Cantina reservation for 6 people at 7:10. So I think the men will do that and whoever else wants to join them.
Okay.
And then we'll do Fantasmic.
Everyone has vouchers
Yeah.
to sit and watch Fantasmic. Okay. This is just a side note, how the family that has the 4-month-old,
Yes.
how do you prepare them for a trip like this?
So my sister, she's been as an adult. She's actually come with us a couple of times. So she kind of knows. I've just told them, do what you can. If you can't do something, they plan on switching off and on. Her husband doesn't like a lot of thrill rides, so he's planning on staying with the kids. My mom's not going on every thrill ride, so she's going to stay with them. So hopefully they'll be able to come up with some system that will work
Okay.
for them.
She's not brand new to this.
No.
Okay, that helps. All right, is that it for Wednesday?
Yes, I think that's enough.
That is enough, unless Jack wants to go do something else.
Yeah, right. He will. He went by himself. My dad was doing a conference about a year and a half ago, and he went with him by himself. And he kind of was in the parks all day by himself, and I was like at home making him lightning lanes. So he wants to do all of it.
Mhm. Why not? Okay, Thursday, April 23rd.
That's Magic Kingdom. We will do early entry that day, and we have a 9:15 lightning lane for Buzz. And we have some other separate lightning lanes here because Rachel didn't want to do some of the thrill rides. I think me and her have a 9:15 or 10:15 for Winnie the Pooh. Then other people have a 10:30 lightning lane for Mine Train and an 11:10 lightning lane for Tron. And that's kind of all of our group plans. And then we have 5:20 p.m. reservation for Crystal Palace that night for all 16 of us. And then we have a 6:40 lightning lane for Tiana's. And we plan to do the Starlight Parade and fireworks that night also.
Afternoon break or staying through?
Yeah, no, I think most of us will go back. I think every day most of us will go back to the resort. I
Okay.
can see my husband and maybe some of my older kids wanting to do everything again and not coming back, but most of us will.
Okay. That makes sense. All right. What is your plan for the next day?
Friday, so because of the late night with fireworks, because fireworks aren't till 10 that night, we're going to have a resort morning. Just relax at the resort. I did make lightning lanes for my husband and my older kids. They have a 9 a.m. Space Mountain, 10 a.m. Winnie the Pooh, 10:10 Tron, and 11 a.m. Haunted Mansion. But those are kind of, I can see me moving those around depending on what they want to do. But the main thing for that day is Rachel and my 6-year-old niece Christina and my 4-year-old nephew Gavin have Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique that day at 2:30. So that's
Okay.
the deal.
Nice. Okay.
And then we're planning to do photos at Sir Mickey's across the street after the boutique. All of us, or most of us, whoever can fit.
Just whoever can fit, come on in.
I would really like to see the 8 grandkids and my grandparents get a picture all together. I think that would be cute.
Mm-hmm. What else on this day?
And then at 5:25, we have dinner at Cinderella's Royal Table.
Oh, how fancy.
Mm-hmm. And then that's kind of it for the day for everyone except my family of 6. They all have early morning flights Saturday morning. I just booked some, let's see if I have it in here. I just booked some lightning lanes for me and Rachel for that evening after dinner. We booked a Speedway, Peter Pan, and Winnie the Pooh. But, well, we might be exhausted at that point and not do those. So we'll see what happens.
Okay. And then Saturday, April 25th is your departure?
Yep. So everyone has, let's see, my 2 sisters are actually on the same 6 a.m. flight. So they're going to be picked up pretty early. My parents have an 8:25 a.m. flight. And then me and my crew, we leave. Ours departs at 4:00. And we won't do anything. We'll probably ask for a late checkout and hang at the resort, go in the pool, eat brunch.
We post park hours updates on social media, as you likely know, and your trip dates were very affected.
Yes.
So I have those up, and I'm just curious, did any of those improve things for you or make things difficult?
It made me nervous because so our 2 options for dates were this week and then the week in February, President's Day, that was crazy and busy. And we had been in 2021 that same week in February. And I'm like, I don't want to go in February, even though the weather will be cooler. It will just be crazy busy. So when they started adding a second parade at Magic Kingdom and extended Animal Kingdom to 8 p.m., it makes me nervous. But
they also added a second Fantasmic.
Oh, did they?
For the yeah. It was just for Friday and Saturday.
Okay. So we won't be there.
Yeah.
But that's, just an indication that they're expecting heavier crowds.
Yes, that's why I was asking, because I think it could be mixed feelings, because on one hand, the extended hours give you more options to do, I don't know, earlier entry or later stays, lightning lanes, dining reservations, whatever. But also it does often mean crowds.
Yep.
So
we'll see. I think we have a good plan. In the past, I have overscheduled us, and I really didn't want to do that this time. I kind of, scheduled a few things in the morning, a few things in the evening, and just, I want to enjoy the vibes and us being together.
Yeah, that'll be excellent. Okay. Well, I like your plans, and I'm excited to hear about it afterwards. Is there anything we haven't talked about with your trip plans?
I don't think so. No.
Okay. Well, have a fantastic time, and I will talk to you in a couple weeks when you get back.
Okay.
Welcome back from your trip, Christine.
Thanks, Shannon.
We're talking on Wednesday, April 29th. So 4 days ago, you got back.
Yes.
How was it?
It was great. Obviously, traveling with 16 people has its own set of challenges, but overall, I don't think it could have really gone better. It was a great trip. We had fun.
Good. Then let's start talking about it to see how it went day by day. Friday, April 17th, lots of different flights coming in, and you guys were all going to end up at All-Star Music. So how did this day go?
Yeah, it went really smooth, actually. I was still working that morning. I wasn't planning on leaving the house till about 1 p.m., but I got my room assignment at 10:33 a.m. in the jazz section, so the second building at All-Star Music. Like I said, I was planning to leave the house at 1, and I was trying to do some last-minute stuff, and I was cleaning out the fridge and I clogged my garbage disposal around 11:30 a.m. and like I could not get it unclogged. So I called a friend over. He got it unclogged for me, but because of all that, that took about an hour. So I had to still pack my toiletries and all my medicines. So I forgot a bunch of things, but thankfully for Walmart and Amazon. So it started off with a little hiccup, but the rest of the day went really smooth. I picked up my kids from school at 1. We headed to the airport. As we were getting on the tram, my sister Kathleen had already gotten there, and she called to see if we could switch rooms because she hadn't gotten her room assignment yet. She asked me to call the resort, but because I was on the tram dealing with all the kids, I didn't right then. It took me about 45 minutes to call back, and they said, "Oh, her room's already been assigned." So that was fine. She ended up we were all in rooms in an L together. I don't know if you know where the playground is at All Star Music, but that's the L that we were in. It was on the opposite side of the pool, so it was very quiet. It was a really nice spot. We landed, let's see, our flight was good. It was on time. We flew Spirit. We landed about 5 p.m. We got on Mears. It left at 5:45. All-Star Music was the first of 3 stops. So we got to the resort about 6:46. So I didn't think that was too bad. And I'd heard mixed reviews, from your trip reports and other things about Mears, but I loved it. The air conditioning was good. It was clean and comfy. It didn't feel awkward at all like you are sometimes with an Uber driver. The driver was
Mhm.
up front and we had our seats and it was nice and he helped with luggage. So we stopped by our room to drop off luggage. Then we headed to my sister's room for some cousin time. Mom and dad got there shortly after us. Before we had arrived, our Walmart delivery had been delivered for me and my younger sister and my parents. Kathleen had called Bell Services to deliver it because she has a 2-year-old and a 4-month-old. So she didn't want to go and get it. But it was taking a long time, like I think over an hour. So by the time my mom and dad had gotten to the resort, they just went to Bell Services and picked it up. So they brought it all back for us. We were missing a bunch of stuff, but I just said, Bell Services, it's crazy up there. So let's just go back and see. And it was after dinner, we went and we found the rest of our order. Then we all went to dinner together, and it was our first. We did have the dining plan. I know we didn't talk about that in the pre-trip, but me and my 2 sisters' families had the dining plan. My parents did not. But the dining plan, it was really confusing, especially when you had adults and kids and what drinks qualified and desserts and all that. So it felt like every single place we went to, it was confusing. The servers having to explain everything to everyone over and over again. But we got to figure it out that night. Rachel, my youngest, is 9 and she ordered a kid's meal because she is, still considered a child. But the portion at the dining hall for this dinner, she ordered a pasta dish. It was really tiny. So she thought, she wanted to order adult meals, but we kind of shared with her when she needed more food.
Mhm.
After dinner, we went to the front desk and we got our celebration buttons. It was my oldest son, Jack. His 17th birthday was actually yesterday. So he wore his birthday button the whole week. He said 144 times someone wished him happy birthday.
It's intense, isn't it?
Yeah. He really enjoyed it though. He also got other free things like snacks and yeah. And then it was mine and Jason, my husband's 20th anniversary. And we got some free things too. We got free cupcakes at Sci-Fi. So that was really nice.
Well, congrats all around.
Oh, thank you. Because Jack and Jason, they actually arrived on a later flight. It just worked out with scheduling. So they arrived to the resort at about 9:30. We went to the dining hall with them, got dinner, and then we went back to our room, unpacked, and got in bed about 11:30.
Mhm.
My middle sister, Michelle, and her wife and her kids, their flight was delayed. They didn't land till about midnight. They got to the resort at 2 a.m. and went to bed at 3 a.m.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's a good thing the next day was a non-park day then.
Yes, that's that, and we knew like their flight was late anyways, and we knew, we don't see them that often, so we wanted a day just to catch up with everyone. The kids love the pool, so that's what we did. So Saturday, April 18th was a resort day. We woke up about 7. Texts started going around at 8 a.m. Our rooms were in the same L, but they weren't right next to each other. It was a few minute walk to each room. So texts started going out. We met at the playground at about 8:30. We played for about 30 minutes. Then we went to the dining hall together. It was a busy morning. That was a race morning, and there were just lots of people
Mhm.
everywhere. So some of us did mobile order to avoid the lines. Me and my dad went to meet his ECB rental at 9 from Kingdom Strollers, and went really smooth. They showed it was really easy to use, so he enjoyed that. Then me and him went to the dining hall to eat. After breakfast, we decided to go to Michelle and Anna's room to check on them, and they were awake. Took them to the dining hall to explain the dining plan to them, which is another,
Mm.
set of explanations and confusions. We took them to the front desk and got their celebration pins after we ate breakfast. Jack and Hannah, my 2 older kids, my 2 teenagers, they decided to take the bus to Disney Springs. There was some Stranger Things cartoon that was debuting early that day, so they took the bus over there and did that, and then the rest of us got ready to swim and got to the pool about 11:30. At this point, everyone in my family kept saying, "Oh, everyone here is so nice. People keep giving us stuff." Like, people gave my youngest sister, the 4-month-old, a baby float and a bath. Other people stopped us on the way to breakfast and gave my 2-year-old niece, like, a bubble wand and my
Mhm.
9-year-old a bubble wand. So they kept saying, "Everyone's so nice here."
Oh, I thought you were gonna say, but then this other thing happened. But
No.
no, they were just nice. They were just nice.
No,
Okay.
no, everyone was just nice. When we got to the pool, we're all fair-skinned, so there were no umbrellas left at the pool. And, we had little kids, so we kind of got in the shade of a palm tree a little bit, and then once an umbrella opened, we got under the umbrella. That was one thing that we didn't like about the resort was, they did ask, like, "Are there any reservations that we could have made?" I'm like, "Well, at the deluxe resorts, there's cabanas," but it was fine. An umbrella opened up eventually. We swam till about 2, and the kids had a lot of fun in the pool. Then we went back to our rooms for rest and showers because we had a 1900 Park Fair reservation that night. So we got to the bus about 4:15, and we filled up. When we got on the bus, that was our first time on the Disney transportation. We filled up the whole entire back of the bus, which was fun. We took the bus to Magic Kingdom, and then we took the monorail over to Grand Floridian. We got split up on the monorail. We ended up in 2 different monorails, but it was fine. When we got off the monorail, there were tons of people at Grand Floridian this night. There were prom kids everywhere taking pictures, and they were basically taking pictures in the same place that we wanted to take pictures. So that was, a bit of a frustration, but it was okay. We checked in to 1900 Park Fair about 5:15. We got seated about 5:35, and they mostly everywhere except for Topolino's, mostly every other restaurant, they were able to seat us close together. Obviously, there's not a table for 16 people, but this at 1900 Park Fair, they did 4 tables of 4 next to each other. So
Mhm.
we were in a good spot. Everyone loved the food here. I think this was a lot of people's favorite meal of the
Mm.
trip. They liked the salmon, the pizza, the desserts, and the character interactions were good here too. Jack, my oldest, he turned 17 yesterday, so he loves seeing all the characters and getting all the signatures, and it was so cute to see him, like, get excited that a character was coming, and it was just really sweet. And I think the characters, they like it when the older kids get into seeing them. Like, I think they have more of a special moment
Mhm.
talking with them, so it was sweet.
I feel like there's a trajectory of like kids like characters and then they go through a phase where they're too cool and then they come back around.
Right. Yeah, I think so. He's kind of always like the characters, but especially with my daughter, Hannah, she's 14. She's like kind of, I mean, she likes it, but it's just okay. But Jack's, yeah, come full circle and he likes them.
Mhm.
We were done with dinner about 7. We were headed back up to the monorail and we found this PhotoPass photographer on the second floor next, I think it's M Mouse Mercantile. And he had props and he was just standing there twiddling his thumbs. So we all got in a group shot and did all these props with wands and swords and Cinderella's slipper on a pillow. And we had a lot of fun.
So maybe that's a secret. You find a
Yeah.
photo pass that's not being used by everybody else, so your group can have some time.
Yeah. It was fun. And we went to M Mouse Mercantile to shop. We bought some trading pins and we did the monorail back to Magic Kingdom, and then we got on the bus at Magic Kingdom about 8:10 and headed back to the resort. Jason and my kids, I think all 4 of them or most of them, they walked over to All-Star Movies because that was one thing that was lacking. I'd never stayed at All-Star Music. There wasn't a lot of Disney theming as far as the icons go. So they walked over to All-Star Movies to see those big icons and to take pictures with them, which they liked. And then we all got in bed about 9:45 p.m.
Can we talk about your rooms? Because you had
Sure.
4 suites.
Yeah.
So how did you guys like the suites?
I really like the suites. I really like the 2 separate spaces. I really like the 2 bathrooms. The only downside for us as a family of 6 is that there's a lot of extra stuff. Like when you put the beds down, like there's 4
Mhm.
chairs and there's not a ton of extra room. So we kind of had to put the chairs on top of each other. So that was a bit, I feel like they could find a better solution for that maybe. But I really like the room itself. The resort in general, as far as the theming, like I said, I enjoy a more Disney themed resort, like movies or, art of animation. But we like the resort overall.
Okay. They do have suites at Art of Animation, so maybe next time.
Yeah. Yeah, we had considered that, but they're just more expensive.
They
So,
are. They are. Okay, so let's talk about the next day, Sunday, April 19th. You were headed to Animal Kingdom.
Yes. We arrived for the bus about 7:05. The bus for Magic Kingdom was already there picking up people, and it was an 8:30 early entry day. So at that point, we made the determination the bus can come anytime from 7 o'clock on, we figured. So we wanted to be at the bus stop before 7 to make sure we were on that first bus for early entry. Our bus came about 7:15. By the time we got there, the tap styles were already open. We weren't planning on doing early entry that day because we did have lightning lanes, but we did want to get in line for Nick and Judy right away because we heard that line gets really long. So we did get in line for Nick and Judy about 7:42. Some of the adults went on, instead of waiting for the characters, they went on Expedition Everest and got to ride that a few times, which was fun for them. Nick and Judy came out at about 8:01 and we were out of line by 8:07. So it was really fast. And I had asked the PhotoPass photographer, like, how is the wait now? And she's like, oh yeah, this is an hour wait.
Mhm.
So I'm really glad we were able to do that first.
It'll be interesting to see how this changes this summer when Bluey
Mhm.
is there, because every new thing that comes on or when a ride closes changes it.
Right. Yeah, and we were really disappointed to miss Bluey because we have some Bluey loving kids in our
Mhm.
group, but
You have to go.
like,
You have to go back.
Right, exactly. Yes, there's already been lots of texts saying, when are we going back? Yeah, so after Nick and Judy, we went on the backside of the Tree of Life and we met Doug and Russell. We also saw a Wilderness Explorer guide like waiting out in the pathway. So we went and we did that. And I think those one-on-one interactions with the cast members, that's what really makes Disney special. I think when I got to speak with cast members, I really enjoyed it.
I think Disney needs to hear that because, like, for instance, when they replace PhotoPass photographers with the automated photo boxes, it's like, no, you're missing the point, which is
Right.
that the people are part of it.
Yes. Yep, exactly. Yeah, I think I only had one box, and that was at Princess Fairy Tale Hall with Tiana. So But we had a lightning lane for safari, so we made our way over there, and we saw, I think it's the Harambe musicians on our way over there, and we stopped and the kids danced and took a little video. That was cute. We tapped into our lightning lane at safari at 8:34 a.m. We kind of sat in our vehicle for a few minutes. We were waiting. I think we were just waiting for people from the lightning lane to fill up the truck. But we left at about 8:45 and returned from our safari about 9:15 a.m. And the safari was a highlight for everybody as our first thing to do all together as a group. Yeah, everybody really liked it. We split up at this point, got a snack. Then we had a lightning lane for the 10 o'clock show of Festival of the Lion King. And because my dad had the scooter, a lot of the times they put him in obviously a special handicap section. So we got floor seats for the show, and that was really neat. Everyone loved the show. We're all millennials, so we grew up with, my favorite movie was Beauty and the Beast. Michelle's favorite movie was Little Mermaid, and my youngest sister Kathleen, her favorite was Lion King. So this was special for her, and everyone loved it. The two littlest, actually, Kathleen's kids, they fell asleep during the show, which was so funny because we were right up there with the lights and the sounds, and they were both conked out, and it was cute.
They must have been exhausted.
Yeah, they were. After that, we had a lightning lane for Navi River Journey. So we headed over there, but more kids fell asleep on the way over there. So we ended up splitting up. I think there was a 60-minute wait at this point at Navi River Journey. And this was my first time on it, and we liked it, and we liked the animatronic on the end, but I am glad I didn't wait 60 minutes for that ride.
I know. It's on the list of things that are fine if you don't have to wait.
Right, exactly. After that, we had a reservation for Rainforest Cafe. And I didn't realize how much I was trying to keep us in the same section of the park. I didn't realize how far of a walk it was over there, especially in the middle of the day. And this was the hottest day of our trip. It got up to 90 degrees that day. So it was hot to get over there. We did check in about 11:25. Lunch was fine. They sat us at two tables next to each other. I just don't think it was anyone's favorite lunch, but we all had the dining plan, so we were trying to use up table service credits. So it was a good way to do that. We stopped in the gift shop. Also at lunch, I had bought my two oldest, Jack and Hannah, park hoppers, and they did use those throughout our trip. Today, I think they both park hopped after Animal Kingdom. I don't even know half the time. I would look through our PhotoPass pictures to see where they had been that day because I didn't know.
So explain why you decided to do that. Is it because you had plans for a break and they wanted to keep going to other parks?
Exactly. Yeah. They wanted to go and do different things. And, they're teenagers, so they wanted to explore by themselves. And I know you've said before, Disney gives teens a really good opportunity to go on their own and have that independence. And so they wanted to do that. And that was cool with me.
Might as well.
Yeah, might as well. After lunch, we headed back to Flight of Passage for a lightning lane. And that's what probably felt like a long walk. It was like coming out, then going back in. We tapped into the lightning lane at Flight of Passage about 1:50. And so this was our first adult ride for the younger kids. My 6-year-old niece, Christina, we had a lightning lane for her to do this ride. And she was in the separate section next to me. And as they locked us in, I could hear her start to cry. And her mom was like, "Excuse me," but they didn't let her out. She did enjoy the ride, but I felt bad for her. That panic had started to set in. And we found out she didn't like confined dark spaces. She didn't like Millennium Falcon. She didn't like Mission Space. But thankfully she did, after her initial freak out. Once the ride started, she was okay.
I do think there's something to be said about kids having to be on the right vehicles alone.
Yes.
Because they don't know what's happening. They don't know if they're going to be okay. And I do think they feel so fragile in the harnesses and stuff. So, well, she was very brave.
Yeah, she did okay on Pirates, I was a little concerned about that because it was dark, but we were all
Mhm.
together. And then she
Mhm.
did okay on Haunted Mansion too. But again, she was with, her mom, so
Mhm.
she was fine. But it was just being, like Millennium Falcon, you're in your own seat.
Mhm.
So, yeah. After this, my parents and Kathleen's family went back to the resort. I think Jason and Sean went off to do other things, but a bunch of us girls, we met Moana. We did the Zootopia show at 3:15, and that was very cute. That was like my highlight of the day, I think. I don't know. It just caught me off guard as to what it was. And I don't know if I had ever did Bugs Life show, but I like the mice running underneath me.
Well, they were also running underneath you
Yeah.
at the It's Up to Be a Bug.
Yeah. We split even further after the Zootopia show. I wanted to do Expedition Everest with Jason and my 11-year-old Sean, so we did that. Everyone else kind of went shopping, but after Expedition, we headed back to the resort. It was probably around 4:30. And as I was heading to the buses, I heard my sister-in-law Anna like calling my name, and she had actually called for a minivan. So 6 of us got to go in the minivan, and I let my husband take the bus home or back to the resort. He was kind of mad, but it was okay. We got back to the resort about 4:45. We rested. We went to the pool with everyone about 6 p.m., and then we had dinner at the dining hall at 7 p.m. Rachel's magic band, my 9-year-old, her magic band, we noticed this day it wasn't lighting up and doing all the vibrations. So her and my mom went to the front desk and they actually gave her a voucher for a new magic band, which was nice. They just said hers was defective for some reason. It was still working, like to let her in,
Mhm.
but just the lights.
But I'm glad that you mentioned this because it's becoming more common
Oh,
problem.
really?
Yes, and so, they usually will replace it. Yeah, it's the charging that is an issue.
Yes, that's exactly it. It wasn't charging, it was just turning red. So
Mhm.
she did eventually find a new magic band that she liked. And we were in bed by 9:30, and I think my older 2 were I don't think they weren't in the room that night when I went to bed. They were out park hopping and riding rides and having fun, which was good.
Yeah, that is fun. So, with the group being together sometimes and apart sometimes,
Mm.
are there multiple people that are then managing their own lightning lanes?
Yeah, so on this day, no, because there weren't really we did a lot of the lightning lanes. The only day that really happened, I guess it happened more later in the trip when people started to get more familiar with the app. And that's when it got really confusing because when you're looking at the app,
Mhm.
we're all friends and family, and you can't tell like which lightning
Mhm.
lane is mine. And there'll be like 3 different times. And so that did become confusing. Like if everyone knew how to use the app and book their own lightning lanes, like it would have been a lot harder to figure out what we were doing. But at this point, everyone was kind of just following my lead. So it was simpler.
What about your teenagers?
Yeah, they did. They did their own, but I kind of knew I don't think they were connected to everybody else. Like I could see everyone's, but they couldn't see everyone else's. So
Mhm.
they had their own app with their own lightning lane. So they were
Mhm.
okay. Yeah, they were good. They
Okay.
figured it out.
All right. Then the next day was Monday, April 20th, and you had plans at Epcot.
Yeah, this was the day that our rope drop strategy did not work out because of the rides being down. So we
Mhm.
got to the bus at 6:45. Our bus came at 7:17, and we were in Epcot by 7:35. The tap styles were already open by the time we got to the front. We went to the right for early entry before Spaceship Earth by 7:45. Then they moved us a couple of times. We got to test track. So we wanted to rope drop test track.
Mhm.
We got there at about 8 o'clock, and we were within, they hadn't opened the doors yet. We were within the first 40 people, maybe. They didn't open the doors for test track till about 8:33. Then there were a couple more delays in line inside. And then some of us got into a ride vehicle, some of us hadn't, and then there was a delay of about 15 minutes. So that really set our whole rope drop plan off. We all love test track. We didn't get off of it until about 9:15.
Mhm.
And then our plan was to go to Frozen. We
Mhm.
didn't get there until about 9:30, and I should have known better. The line was wrapped all the way around our Curtius, like to the other side in the alley. The app said 35 minutes, but I should have known better. But really, as I was thinking back through it, we wouldn't have had another time to do Frozen Ever After because in the evening we were going to be at the front of the park. So we just waited. It was about an hour in that line.
That's a
Yeah.
lot different than 35 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. My sister and sister-in-law went to go get us a snack and fed everyone in the line, which, we were all getting hangry at that point. But everyone loved Frozen. I mean, we got a whole boat to ourselves, and
Mhm.
this ride photo was one of my favorites of the whole trip. Like, just the way where they took the picture, like, everyone was smiling and happy, and it was
That might be the first in history because most people don't take good photos there because they don't really know.
yeah, everyone was just smiling. It was cool. Jason and my 11-year-old, my husband and son, didn't do Frozen with us. They ended up meeting Donald at the Mexican Pavilion and rode 3 caballeros while we were doing Frozen. And then after that, we had a lightning lane for Remy. So that was that was a big point of discussion throughout our plans is which one do we get the lightning lane for? But because we were entering at the front, we decided to do it for Remy. So we kind of moseyed our way over. Some stopped for snacks, some stopped for pictures. That was probably one of the most difficult parts of traveling with a huge group. It's like I anticipated it taking us more time to get to things as just, our family of 6 would have been, but just making sure if we were all doing something together, we all had to be there at the same time.
Mhm.
Nobody had to be in the bathroom. We were waiting for somebody to get stopped doing this. So that was like one of the biggest challenges. It was just when we wanted to do something, having everyone there in a timely fashion. We tapped into Remy at about 11:15. This was my first time on Remy. Rachel and I, my 9-year-old, we had watched Ratatouille in preparation, and I
Mhm.
really liked Remy. It was really cute. I thought the practical sets were really neat. Yeah, so I really enjoyed that ride. Then that was our plan kind of for the morning. So people started to split up from here. My dad went back to the resort. Kathleen, my youngest sister, and their kids and her husband, they walked around. Her husband's a chef. So they walked around to all the booths sampling food. They liked that. My mom and then my middle sister, Michelle, and Anna and their kids, and my youngest daughter, Rachel, they went around. They did so much. They met princesses. They met Mickey and Minnie and Goofy. They rode Spaceship Earth. They did the Nemo ride. They did the aquarium. They did the Encanto show. They did so much. Me and Jason and some of my kids, my boys, we went to Regal Eagle for lunch and mobile ordered, and it was really good. This was probably the best quick service I had the whole trip. I really enjoyed that. This night was the night of our Magic Kingdom after hours for me and Jason, and we had a 4 p.m. reservation at Coral Reef. So after lunch, I decided to head back to the resort, and Jason and my 11-year-old Sean, they ended up coming back with me because I needed to take a break. It was hot. So we decided to leave at 12:20 from Regal Eagle, and I didn't get to the bus until 1 p.m. I mean, we were at the very far. I mean,
Mhm.
it's a far walk. We did stop at the caramel shop in Germany, but it was Epcot's a big park.
That's 2 parks, really.
Yeah, it really is. But Epcot was my favorite as far as aesthetically. Like, it was
Mhm.
beautiful. All the flowers were in bloom. Like, every single planter had these gorgeous, vibrant, multicolored
Mhm.
flowers. The topiaries were beautiful. It was just gorgeous.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, so we headed back. Some of us headed back to the resort. Jack that night, so we had the plans to do Coral Reef, but Jack, my 17-year-old, he wanted to do a character meal that night. So I was able to snag him a reservation at our Curtius for one for that evening. He wanted to meet some princesses.
I like that he's just gonna go by himself.
Yeah. Yeah, he did that a couple of different times. He really liked that. And he said it was family style, I guess, but he liked the food. He said it was way too much food for him, but he enjoyed that. He liked meeting all the characters. And also, I should mention this. Jason wanted to do a Space 220, wanted to do that meal. And I had put a mouse watcher for the lounge
Mhm.
a few weeks ago. And I had gotten a few alerts, but literally, like, I would get the text and like run right to the link, and it was already gone by the time. So we didn't end up getting a Space 220 reservation, but it was fine. Yeah. So I laid in bed. So after we got back to the resort, I laid in bed about 1:30. We took the bus back to get back to Coral Reef at about 4:20. Kathleen and CJ, my youngest sister, and their two kids, they did not come back for the dinner this night. They ended up meeting us later. Coral Reef, the food was fine. The service was slow. The restaurant wasn't full. But like I said, the food was good. I don't think I would go back there again. I mean, the aquarium did have, because you sit there and you watch the aquarium and there were scuba divers. That did have some appeal, but it was kind of like a one and done for me, at least. We
Mhm.
did that. We did that restaurant with my parents, like when we were kids. So Michelle, my middle sister, asked to do that one, out of nostalgia. So I want to do that for her. Let's see. Okay, so after that, we wanted to do Turtle Talk with Crush all together. So Kathleen and CJ did come back for that. Jack met up with us at Turtle Talk after our Kirschjuice dinner, and we got to Turtle Talk about 6 p.m. We did have one of our kids ask a question. Gavin, he's 4. He asked, "How many turtles live in the sea?" And Crush didn't know. So that was a little disappointing. Crush said that, he was getting asked the hard ones that night, but it was a cute show. We liked it. Then we had a lightning lane for Soren, so we headed over there. Some of the adults didn't do Soren, so they did. We also had a lightning lane for Living with the Land, so they did that instead. After Soren, Kathleen and CJ and their kids went back to the resort. We had a lightning lane for Guardians. My mom and dad were watching all the kids because we were supposed to go to Magic Kingdom after hours, but I knew Rachel really wanted to do Mission Space, so I convinced them to head that way with us and do Mission Space. And they did that. I don't think they liked it though. Yeah, because Christina freaked out. The 6-year-old freaked out about,
Mhm.
yeah. So I don't think it worked out well for them, but we did there were 7 of us that did the lightning lane for Guardians, and it was a favorite for sure. It took a while, even with the lightning lane, about 45 minutes. And I wear one of those scopoline patches for motion sickness, and this ride made me feel a little yucky. I think because of the G forces and then the turning car,
Mhm.
I was okay, but that was one ride I was like, "Oh, I don't feel so good." We had Iran, which I really liked. My sister, Michelle, and her wife, Anna, said it was the best ride of the trip. So that was good. And
Mhm.
I think Jack was able to do it more than one time, but the individual lightning lanes were sold out. So no one really got back on it, but we'll just have to do it the next time. After that, we all kind of went our separate ways. My sister and sister-in-law were supposed to do the after hours with us, but they wanted to head back to the resort, put their kids to bed, and then meet us at Magic Kingdom. So Jack, Jason, and I, even though Jack wasn't doing after hours, there was still time for him to go to Magic Kingdom and do like one ride or something. So we took the monorail from Epcot to the TTC. It was about 8:30, but the monorail was a little smelly that night. It was a little sweaty and smelly. So once we got to the TTC, I was like, let's go on the ferry boat. Uh,
You're like, "I need some air."
right. So we did. We walked over the ferry boat, and I could see a ferry boat coming towards us because it was the end of the night, and there was a lot of people on the ferry boat, but there was nobody in line. So we walked right up to the cast member. I think her name was Jennifer, and I started just talking with her. And then this smaller pontoon boat, like a motor pontoon boat, came up next to us on the dock. And I was like, "Oh, who gets to ride in that boat?" And she like ran over to the boat, like without saying anything. I'm like, "Oh, I wonder if I said something wrong." Or then I was thinking, "Oh, she's asking if we can have a ride in the boat." And she did. And they let me and Jack and Jason have a ride in this pontoon boat. It was fast. It was fun. It was very special. There was like 4 cast members on the boat. They were doing like a training exercise, but Jack was wearing his birthday pin. So
Mhm.
she said as a gift to him that they gave us a ride on the pontoon boat to Magic Kingdom.
A private boat.
Yep, it was really fun. It was cool. It was fast. So after we got the off the boat, my sister-in-law called me and said that they were just tired and they were going to transfer their after hours tickets to my 2 kids, to my older 2 kids. So they did that, and that was very generous of them. Hannah was back at the resort, my 14-year-old, so she hopped on a bus and headed to Magic Kingdom. We entered Magic Kingdom at about 9:30. We did some shopping on Main Street. I wanted to watch the fireworks at 10, so a few minutes before 10 o'clock, I started making my way up to Main Street. And I think I had some back 10 years ago when I was pregnant, I think a cast member yelled at me when I stopped, like where I wasn't supposed to stop during the fireworks. So I was like nervous about moving during fireworks. But we got right up to the hub right as it was starting, and the cast members like kind of like, shone their lights and led us up to this spot. And it was like this perfect spot. It was kind of like where like the road like comes to a crest, and like there was nobody in front of us. We could see the whole thing. It was a beautiful show. It was perfect timing. I had never seen Tink fly, and Tink flew that night, and I thought it was at the beginning. So I thought like I had missed it because we were, walking up Main Street, but then she flew at the end and got chills, and it was great. It was fun. Getting out of the hub was crazy, obviously, but our first stop was snacks for doing after hours. We had bottled drinks, Mickey bars, popcorn. I really wanted to do Buzz, but it was closed for the whole night. We did get on Buzz later in the trip. First, we got on People Mover, and it was longer than I remembered, and it was darker too. That was a problem later with the younger kids when they did People Mover and it was dark. Jason wanted to do Space Mountain, so we did that, which was a literal walk-on. And when I say literal walk-on, like I had never experienced walking up to a ride and literally like the door was open and you just walked right onto the ride vehicle. Like that was a first for me, but that it definitely happened a few times this night. So we did Space. Jason wanted to do Tron. I wanted to do the Enchantment fireworks at 11:30. Tron was a posted 20-minute wait at that point, but I thought with the walk over there, like we were going to miss the fireworks.
Mhm.
So we decided to walk over to Winnie the Pooh because that's one of Jason's favorite rides. The posted wait was 5 minutes, but as we walked up, like I could tell it was way longer than 5 minutes. It looked more like 20. So I went to the hub to wait for fireworks, and Jason went to Tron because I didn't really care to do Tron. I knew we had a lightning lane for it later in the week. So he went to do Tron while I watched the fireworks. And I think I found the spot that you recommend right on the curb next to the trash cans. And
Mhm.
I waited and sat, and Hannah had made her way, and we share our location. So she found me on the curb, and we sat there and we watched Enchantment together. And there was literally no one in the street. I mean, no one walked in front of us. We sat on the curb the whole time. The vibes were good with all the lights, and the show was so much better than Happily Ever After. I mean, Walt at the beginning, just the projections were beautiful. I don't know, it somehow used the whole castle, the characters they used, the songs they used. It really struck a chord with me. I mean, that sitting there with Hannah, watching the show with nobody in the park, that was the highlight of the trip for me. After the fireworks show, we met back up with Jason, or no, just me. The kids kind of left us at this point because we said, this is mom and dad's time. So they went off and did their own thing. I met up with Jason at about midnight. We went on Winnie the Pooh, which was a walk-on, then Little Mermaid, then Peter Pan, and our last ride was Seven Dwarfs, which was about a 5-minute wait. And at 12:56 a.m., we got off of Seven Dwarfs. I wanted to do shopping, so we were walking, out towards Main Street. But I didn't realize that all the stores were closed at 1. They don't keep them open like they do, after normal park hours. We waited a few minutes for the bus and this was the only time on our trip that the buses were shared for the All-Stars. And music was the second stop, but we were back. I was in bed by 1:45, so it really didn't take that long, even with the shared buses. We had gotten lots of snacks and drinks, so that was definitely the after hours was definitely a highlight of the trip for me.
Good. Sounds like a good day. I'm glad your teenagers got to do it with you too.
Yeah. I think it was a highlight for them too.
Another non-park day the next day, Tuesday, April 21st, which is great since you had not gotten back till 1:45 a.m.
Yeah. And I'm normally an early, I'm in bed by 8:00. Like I wake up at 4 a.m. and I'm in bed at 8 p.m. Yeah. So 1:45 was late for me. We were going to Topolino's. We met at the bus at 9 a.m. I think we had like a 10:15 reservation. We took the bus to Hollywood Studios and then the Skyliner to Riviera. And I must not have been paying attention because when we were on the Skyliner, I was talking to my parents. My dad had the ECV in the Skyliner vehicle with us, and I was worried about him getting off. So when we got off the Skyliner at Riviera, I went right instead of going left. So we had a nice tour of Caribbean Beach. I was looking at everything and like, this doesn't feel right. So I figured it out. It was about a 5-10 minute detour into Caribbean Beach. But we got up to Topolino's, checked in. They said they would try to accommodate us at the same table and to wait on the terrace, which was beautiful up there. We all took pictures. But after about 40 minutes, like the kids hadn't eaten anything. So it was like 10:45 at this time. They were all getting pretty cranky. So we just told the hostess, like, please just split us up. Just give us whatever table you can. So they did. They split us up into two tables of 8, and we were across the restaurant from each other. The food was really good. We took some of the pastries home. The character interaction was good too. I guess it just left a bad taste in my mouth that we had to wait for so long. Which I don't think that would have been everyone's experience. I did tell Donald, like, as I was looking back through your character tool, like, I don't think you can really meet Donald in his normal Donald Duck outfit. Like in Epcot, he's in Mexico with his poncho and a sombrero. Like, so I asked Donald, like, I don't think I can meet you anywhere in your normal Donald Duck outfit. And he wrote on my autograph book, like HS, Hollywood Studios, but I still couldn't find him in his normal Donald Duck outfit.
That cracks me up that he wrote HS.
Yeah, he did. Yep, he did.
Yeah, I'm looking. Yeah, you might be right. I'm scrolling through. I'm like, he really is in different outfits.
Yeah.
I don't see him in a regular outfit either.
Yeah. Like at Chef Mickey's and he's in a chef coat. So
that's one of the reasons we have this character locators, just to see that. And I'm like, he is not in his regular outfit.
It was kind of close. His Riviera outfit, he was in a blue striped shirt. It was close. It was pretty close. But I know Rachel wanted to meet like all the characters in the normal outfits. So she got like Mickey, Minnie, Goofy at Epcot and, Celebration, wherever they are meeting over there. She got them, but we couldn't get Donald, but that was okay. Let's see. So we were out of there at about 12:15. Oh, this was one time too. It was hard. So at 1900 Park Fair and at Cinderella's Royal Table, when we did that, the characters moved through the restaurant really nicely. Like we were able to meet them in an efficient time frame. But at Topolino's and then at Crystal Palace, like we were sitting there ready to go, had paid our check and still hadn't met characters. So it feels like that Disney needs to get on the same page as like how they move their characters through the restaurant. Because we were waiting, I think our other table was waiting for Minnie and we were waiting for, I forget what but we were waiting. So we got out of there about 12:15. My mom and dad took an accessible minivan back to the resort. The rest of us wanted to go to Disney Springs, so we took the bus from the Riviera. And I really liked their bus stops. They were covered with fans and they had benches. We got to Disney Springs at about 12:45, and we had an appointment to build minifigures at Lego at 1 p.m. And this was a really good experience. We had booked a couple different appointments because it's not really clear on their website how to do it. But the staff there said that you book one appointment and you can build as many minifigures as you want to. They said that sometimes the line is wrapped around the building and to just go to the exit and ask the staff member there and tell them you have an appointment and they'll let you in. You actually, go ahead.
I was going to say that's interesting because officially they say one appointment for up to 4 people,
Okay.
but you're saying it's unlimited, so it's good to know.
Yeah. I mean, she's like, yeah, you could do 20 minute. She's like, if you were doing 20 minifigures, maybe book 2 appointments. And it was only $11.99 a piece, so it was a pretty good deal. So
Mhm.
you design the shirt, they 3D print the shirt, and then they have buckets of faces and hair and legs and accessories. So once your 3D shirt is once your shirt's printed, then you can put your minifigure together. They also print like a little stand with most of the kids put their names on it for your minifigure to stand on. They have 12 computers there where you do the shirt. So there's there wasn't a long wait to design the shirt. But the kids had fun with that. And it was pretty cheap. So we did that. And then we went to World of Disney to shop. And then Jason and I, so in pre-trip, we had talked about doing a college tour. We didn't need to do that this day. It all got worked out with Jack. But Jason and I did want to do a DVC tour. Well, I wanted to do it, and Jason just came along with me for the gift card. Because I've always heard about DVC, but I just really wanted to understand what it was, how expensive it actually is. So we scheduled a tour. We went to the Poly Tower. They picked us up from our resort, or we had scheduled for them to pick us up at our resort at 3:30. So it was around 2 at this point. So we took the bus back over to the resort, dropped my 2 younger kids off with my parents. And that's one thing about Disney Springs. It's like, I'm not a shopper like you. I don't like shopping. So Disney Springs is very confusing to me. Like even with the maps and even with the cast members saying like, oh, go here and turn left here. Like I still got lost a couple of times.
It doesn't make sense. I have
No.
my Disney Experience app open a lot because you can then it can show you where you are, And I'm like, am I going the right place to get to the restaurant I'm going to? Because it doesn't make sense, even though we've been there a million times.
Yeah. It was very confusing. So I don't need to go back to Disney Springs anytime soon. So Jason and I were picked up from our resort at 3:30. We did the DVC tour. I don't think I realized how gorgeous hotel rooms could be. Like going to see these model hotel rooms at the Tower of Poly, like they were just so nice. Our tour guide or our DVC guide, he was great. No pressure. I think he asked us one time, is this something you'd be interested in doing today? It was good for what it was. We got a gift card and we got some information. I don't think it's not really something that we were interested in. It was just more for just to see what it's like. And it was good. I'm glad we did it.
Plus you got to see some rooms that you would never. This is how I ended up seeing the Polynesian bungalows for the first time.
Okay.
I was like, let me do a DVC tour and they'll take me in and see it. And then I got to stay later. But like, it's fun to see new spaces.
Yeah. I love the Moana touches. I like Moana. I like the music. Yeah, it was beautiful. So Rachel and Sean, my 9 and 11-year-old, did get to do the free tournament at the arcade that day. And they really enjoyed that. They played for a full hour. I think the staff member just kind of followed them around and like swiped his card at every game they wanted to play. And I think it's tournament in the loosest sense of the word, but they had fun for an hour playing arcade games with my dad was watching them.
So did you just find that on the activity schedule then?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, and actually it says it on the door to the arcade. It said a tournament will be happening every day at 4 p.m.
Fun. Yeah. I love that this is a new thing for listeners.
Yeah. And we had dinner after we got back. We had dinner at the dining hall. I actually did laundry this day, which the laundry room was not far. It was over by the quiet pool. It was in that little area. It was a nice laundry facility, but it just takes a while going back and forth and with 6 people to have laundry. It took a few hours. But we went to bed early this night. Yeah, so that was it for that day. And
All
then,
right. Okay. The next day was Wednesday, April 22nd. Back to the parks, this time
Yep.
Hollywood Studios.
and this was my favorite early entry day of the trip.
Why is that?
Well, I'll tell you. So we arrived at the bus stop a little before 7 a.m. We got on the bus at 7:13, arrived at Hollywood Studios at 7:30. Our plan for early entry was to do Mickey and Minnie's first. But as we were, walking up, we tapped in at 8 a.m. Mickey and Minnie's was down. So that was disappointing. But I knew that I'd had a backup plan in my head. If Mickey and Minnie's was down, we were going to go right to Toy Story Mania. And that's what we did. And the great thing, why it was my favorite, is as soon as we got to Toy Story Mania, they just let us on the ride at 8:10 in the morning. Like, it was great. They didn't hold us back anywhere. They just let us right in. So we did that. We got off at about 8:25. So by the time we got off, it was still even before early entry technically started. So we went over to Millennium. Well, some of us went over to Millennium Falcon. Kathleen and her 2 kids, the littlest ones, they went to Alien Swirling Saucers. And I think they did that 3 times after Toy Story Mania. So that was fun. I think that was Scarlett, the 2-year-old's, that was her favorite ride of the trip.
I love that. It's just so rare to get to do something over and over again.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So they had a lot of fun doing that. I think she said, because they had Aiden too, is 4 months, so he couldn't do Alien Swirling Saucer. So they swapped on and off, once with mom, once with dad, then back to mom. So that was fun for them. So the rest of us went over to Millennium Falcon, and really nobody was over there. And we saw Ray, and she was meeting with another family, and we went up to her. We talked with her. She took a picture with us. Christina, the 6-year-old, she told her we were heading to the Millennium Falcon. And Ray was like, "Oh, that's my ship. Let me walk you over there." So she took Christina by the hand and walked over to the ride and talked to the cast member and let us go through the Lightning Lane line when we didn't have a Lightning Lane. So that was very sweet.
Come on.
Yeah.
That is so lovely. I can see why you like this morning.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a good morning. We got split up because there was only 6 in each ship. So Rachel and Sean, my 9 and 11-year-old, they were pilots. Jason and I were gunners. My mom and dad were engineers. And this was so Guardians of the Galaxy made me feel weird because my children were driving. I felt sick. I felt sick on this ride. So I had to close my eyes through the middle of it because their driving was making me car sick. I had mentioned before, Christina, the 6-year-old, she didn't end up riding it because she got scared. My sister and sister-in-law kept saying, they scare you in the pre-show. It's so intense in the pre-show. If they didn't do that, I think she would have been okay riding the ride, but she was in a seat by herself, and yeah.
I totally agree with that. Why is it so scary? It's kind of like the Haunted Mansion stretching room is scarier than the ride.
Yes. Yep. And because of this instance, we skipped the stretching room.
Okay.
Yeah. But other than the sickness, it was fun. We had a good time. I pressed my little buttons and we were off that by 8:45 a.m. and the park wasn't officially opened. And Rachel, this was a big character day for Rachel, and a lot of characters, had those big lines. So we went to go stand in line for Woody and Jessie, and a bunch of people met us over there to meet Woody and Jessie. They came right out at 9 a.m. We met them. That was fun. Then we split up more. Most of the group had a Lightning Lane for Slinky Dog Dash at 9:15. So they did that. And then Rachel and I went over to Pixar Place to meet characters. We ended up meeting all of the characters except for Sully because his line was extra long. I don't know why. And we got a Jack Jack Num Num cookie, which was yummy. We had watched Incredibles before in preparation for the trip. We had also lined up to meet Buzz. His first meet and greet was at 9:45, and I think we were the third family in line for that. So we got in line before he came out. We met him, and then it was time to do our lightning lane for Rise of the Resistance. So we all headed over there. Christina and Gavin, the 4 and the 6-year-old, and my sister Michelle decided not to do this ride. And that was a common theme throughout the trip, is a lot of people decided at the last minute not to do their individual lightning lane. I think my parents did go and get refunds. I'm not sure if my sister did, because it was just one more thing to do, but my parents did get a refund. There was mixed feelings with Rise of the Resistance. My brother-in-law CJ likes Star Wars, so he really liked this ride, and I really like this ride. And this was the one time, that first scene where you're in, you go into the ship outside, and then you're in the ship, and then the doors open, you're with all the stormtroopers. Like Rachel, my 9-year-old was really, she was so surprised. Like she really thought that that we had gone in the ship. She's like, how did they do that? And she loved it. It was very sweet. Yeah. But my sister-in-law, Anna, she really didn't like this ride. I'm not sure why. She said it didn't live up to the hype. So we had mixed feelings about this ride. Yeah. After that, we split up some more. My dad and some of the other guys went over to do Indiana Jones. Me and my girls and Michelle and her family went to do Little Mermaid. And I thought that was a great upgrade. Like it was a Broadway show, Broadway caliber in 20 minutes. It was great. The puppets were cool. The special effects were cool. Yeah. My sister Michelle, that was her favorite movie as a child. And she said that was her favorite show of the trip.
High praise.
Yeah. It was good. We were getting hangry at this point, so we headed over to ABC Commissary for lunch. We mobile ordered. The food was fine here. The menu, I should have looked at the menu beforehand. It didn't appeal to everyone as like something else with burgers and chicken fingers would have done, but I liked my pork taco. It was good. I headed back to the resort after lunch. A few of the adults had a lightning lane for Tower of Terror, so they did that after lunch. The rest saw Beauty and the Beast. I think this day, with our group of 16, we did everything in the park except for Star Tours. Like, we did all the shows. So that was pretty cool that we got to do everything because there's so many of us.
It is a lot.
Yeah.
Can we talk about Jack's plans?
Yeah, Jack's plans this day, he ended up, so this day he did August Cantina in the afternoons. I don't remember if he met us for lunch at ABC. He may have sat with us for a while but didn't order. Or no, he did because August Cantina doesn't have food. So he did have lunch with us. He went to August, ordered, I don't know, whatever he ordered. Then he went over to Disney Springs, watched a movie, and then went to Raglan Road that night. And he said that at Raglan Road, that was his favorite meal, that they treated him very nicely over there because he was by himself and it was his birthday and he really liked the entertainment. So
I'm obsessed with this guy. Like, I just love his interest and he's willing to go do it by himself. Just so independent.
Yeah. It was neat for him to do that. I was happy to hear that it went so well, that they treated him so nicely. Yeah. So I went back and rested. CJ, my brother-in-law, ended up going to urgent care this afternoon. He had an ear infection, so he called the front desk. The paramedics came to see him at the room. They recommended he go to a Minute Clinic. So he did that, and because it was a CVS, they did the prescription right there. So he stayed in that night and rested. But my sister Kathleen and the babies, they wanted to go back. So me and my other sister, we strapped those kids on and we took them to the park. We got to the bus about 3 p.m. to head back to our sci-fi dinner reservation. That was also Fantasmic dining package. Mostly everyone got burgers. Jason, my husband, he liked this dinner the best. He's kind of a meat and potatoes type guy. So this was his favorite dinner of the trip. I think it was a good experience. I know in your trip reports recently that some parents haven't liked it because of the content. Our kids, it was engaging to our kids. They
Mhm.
liked it just fine. We were
I
trying,
I think it would be safe to say sci-fi gets mixed reviews.
yeah. Yeah, the food, I liked my burger, I liked the milkshake. The dining plan was confusing, our server had to explain it to us again, what was eligible. But yeah, so some people, yeah, at least Jason really enjoyed that one.
Mhm.
Our reservation was at 4 and we were trying to make the 5:30 Frozen show, and we literally just made it. Like, we had told our server, "This is what we're trying to do." So she, like, rushed us out. I had forgotten the vouchers. Like, I didn't even
Mhm.
grab so I had to call Jason because he was staying back. He wasn't gonna go to the Frozen show. He stayed back to pay, and I had to call him, like, "Make sure you get those vouchers."
Mhm.
I'm sure they would have given them to us if we had gone back, but we made it to Frozen show just in time. Everyone loved that show. The adults really enjoyed the historians. At first, my sister-in-law was like, "Who are these guys?" But it was good. It was a good show. And I think the Snope, like when we have been in recent or, past years, the Snope kind of was just in the front of the auditorium, but now like they really shoved it all the way through the auditorium. So we were covered in snow, and that's like the highlight of the show. It was fun. And earlier in the day, because we'd missed Mickey and Minnie's, I had moved lightning lanes around. So after Frozen, we did a lightning lane for Mickey and Minnie's. The pre-show was down, which I enjoy the pre-show and like getting that element of surprise when the stage opens up, but it was still fun. Sean and Jason, Sean had his droid appointment that night. So he did that. He loved his droid. And my husband has not been a fan of Star Wars, really. Like, he's made it a point not to watch any Star Wars movie because he doesn't feel like he is part of a bandwagon. But this droid experience really changed his mind. He ended up booking a lightsaber appointment for that night and getting a $300 lightsaber.
That is quite a trajectory from "I'm not interested" to "Let me get a collectible
Right.
lightsaber."
Yes,
Uh,
exactly. He did
uh,
a red one. I thought that was the dark side, but whatever. So
so
they
the Droid Depot appointment was technically for your 11-year-old, but
Yes.
your husband went. But
Mhm.
then when he did the, Savvy's appointment, it was for himself?
Yes. Yep,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay.
And I think Sean was able to go with him and, help him pick out
Yes.
whatever.
Mhm.
Sean really loved the droid. Yeah, they both, that was something that Jason was showing everyone throughout the later in the trip, like, look at my lightsaber. So they enjoyed that. They went to Oga's Cantina that
Mhm.
night, and that was fun for them. They had to stand, and Sean said they were with other people, but they still liked it. It was originally booked for 6 people because I didn't know who would wanted to ended up going, but it ended up just being Sean and Jason. And then let's see. So my parents and Kathleen and her kids went to Little Mermaid because they had missed it earlier in the day, and then they headed back to the resort. Anna and Christina and Gavin, the 6 and 4-year-old, they went to the gift shop after Toy Story Mania because she had told them they wanted to buy some souvenirs. And then after Mickey and Minnie's, my girls and I and Michelle went to the villain show before Fantasmic. My favorite performer was Cruella, but
Mhm.
Maleficent won our show.
Mhm.
Um, but it was a really good show. We were in the second row. I really enjoyed that. I always like I like, I like Broadway. I like live performances, so that was right up my alley. Then we had about 30 minutes before we needed to go check into Fantasmic. So I sat like on one of the ledges. I think, is it Sunset Boulevard right there outside of Fantasmic?
Mhm.
And my sister and my daughters went shopping up Sunset Boulevard. And about 10 minutes, my daughter Hannah called me and she's like, "We can't find Rachel." And I kind of blew it off like, "Oh, I'm sure she's, because those stores are connected. So I'm like, I'm
Mhm.
sure she's just in one of those stores. And then like a couple minutes later, my sister called me and was like, we can't find Rachel. So I'm like, okay. And my sister was kind of panicking. So I just decided to grab the closest cast member that was next to me and tell him what was going on. I figured, Rachel's 9. She knows my phone number. We've talked about it many times what to do if she gets separated from us. And because I hadn't gotten a phone call, I was thinking, oh, Rachel doesn't even know she's lost yet. Because I was thinking as soon as she'd reach out to a cast member, they would have called me. So that's what I told the cast member. Like, I don't even know if she thinks she's lost. And he was asking me like what she was wearing, if I had a picture, like I was bringing up a picture of her. And as I was talking to the cast member, another cast member ran up to me and said, "We have Rachel." I'm like, okay. So we found her. She was in the Pandora jewelry store.
Mhm.
So I walked down with this cast member to get her. And I fully expected her to be crying and upset, but she was just looking at jewelry with a couple of lady cast members. And
So you were right. She didn't know she was
like,
lost.
yeah, she did know she was lost, but she was having a great time.
Mm.
She had told me, she's like, "Mom, I've been lost before." It was fine.
She's chill.
Yeah, she was chill. But I still don't understand why they didn't call me right away. They must have some protocol as to why they didn't call me right away, but it was fine. They handled it. They handled it wonderfully. My sister was shaken up, like she was crying,
Mhm.
but Rachel was fine. I was fine. Everything was fine.
Mhm.
So we walked back to the Fantasmic area. We had extra vouchers for Fantasmic because some people had left, so I was able to give 5 of them away to a group that was next to us and be generous. And that was, lots of people had given us things even
Mhm.
earlier that day with Ray and the Lightning Lane, so it was nice to be able to give those vouchers to people.
I miss being able to do that with fast passes.
Yeah, yeah, the paper fast passes for sure.
Mhm.
So there were 7 of us that went to Fantasmic. We ended up sitting about halfway up, but it was breezy that night, so we still got sprayed a little, which was gross. I love the show though. The Pocahontas and the Elsa parts were my favorite. We got separated on the way out. We took a bus back. My sister and her kids, they took a minivan. That was like their thing. They really enjoyed taking the minivans. But we got in bed around 10 o'clock.
Okay. All right. A good day.
Yes, it was a very good day.
All right. The next day was Thursday, April 23rd, and you've had plans at Magic Kingdom.
Yep. So same thing. We got to the bus a little before 7. A bus arrived at 7:10. Magic Kingdom is just far away. So we didn't get there till about 7:38. As we were approaching the tap styles, they opened. So we kind of hung back because I could see like towards the right, they were going to be opening more tap styles. So it would have probably taken us a while if they hadn't, but they did open more tap styles. So we were like 3rd or 4th in line to get in. We headed straight over to Peter Pan. The last time I was there was in 2024, and they held us right at the teacups during
Mhm.
early entry. But now they just I don't know when it changed, but they let us get right in line for Peter Pan. They opened the queue for Peter Pan a few minutes before 8:30, and we walked right on. I love going through that queue. It's very cute to see the Darling's bedroom and Nana, and yeah, it's a good queue.
Mhm.
We will our next was planned to do next was Winnie the Pooh, but we got over there and the line, it was looking a little long, and we had a lightning lane later, so we skipped it, and the kids wanted to do the carousel. So we did that. And then everybody tried to pull the sword out of the stone, and nobody was successful. Even some of the adults did it, and we all got pictures, and that was fun.
Mhm.
Rachel wanted to meet some characters, so we split up. Some of us went to Small World and did that. Rachel was really trying to meet Rapunzel. She's another princess that she used to have, like in past years when we've met her like a couple different times, but we didn't, yeah, we Googled and Tiana and Rapunzel normally meet together. But
Mhm.
when we asked the cast member at the front, like, is Rapunzel, like, they won't tell you who's there, which
Mm-mm.
I don't understand why. Like, just tell us who's there. What's the big deal? But we went and we met Tiana, and Ariel was visiting that day, which was
But
fun.
yeah, I mean, it's a good disclaimer because it's called Princess Tiana and a Visiting
Right.
Princess. And usually it is Rapunzel.
Right. But it wasn't this day.
Ariel, I've never even heard of that.
So we did that. I was telling her, like, why don't we go over to the Cinderella side and like catch somebody on the way out and see who's over there, but she didn't want to.
But you just bring up a good point because I feel like Tangled is so popular. So why is it just the occasional, princess
Yeah.
and the bathrooms?
Right. Exactly. She
Like
did have the Starlight float, which was good. So we did get to see her.
yeah, may I suggest a Disney cruise? Because there's a lot more
Okay.
presence of Tangled on a Disney cruise.
Really? Okay. Yes, that
Mm.
that that might be in our future.
I'll be asking you about that on the after chat.
Okay. Rachel wanted to meet Chip, so we went over to over by Space Mountain where he meets, and we had missed him the first time, so we could see where he exited and we knew where he was coming back out, so we kind of stalked him. And he was funny when he came out. He was trying to avoid us, and Rachel was running after him with her autograph book and pen. So that was cute. She liked meeting him. After we did that, we had a lightning lane for Buzz Lightyear, so everybody met us over there for Buzz. And that was fun. I liked the upgrades. Some of the ride photos were really intense as to who was shooting because we have, a gaming family. But that was fun. And then I wanted everyone to do Enchanted Tales with Belle together because it didn't have a lightning lane. I wanted to do that first 10:30 show. So we got over there about 10:15. And that was so much fun. Jack, when he was 6, he was the Beast. So Christina is 6, and she was the Beast during this show. So it's like a family tradition.
It's a rite of passage for the 6-year-old.
Mm-hmm. So we said when Scarlett gets to be 6, she's 2 now, that we'll have to go back and she can be the Beast.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone had parts. Gavin, the 4-year-old, was Philippe. Rachel was Mrs. Potts. Hannah, 14-year-old even, she was the wardrobe. And then I think Scarlett, the 2-year-old, ended up being a plate, but at the end they said she was the tiniest teacup. I don't know. So, but it was very cute, very sweet. They all liked that. Then we went over to the hub to do a family picture because not everyone, I was planning on doing a family picture when we were doing our Crystal Palace reservation that night, but because people stopped coming to dinner, I wanted to make sure we get that. It wasn't my favorite picture of the trip. We were kind of spread out in a weird way, but we got it in. It was fine. Then we headed over to Winnie the Pooh for our lightning lane. Then we had, and everyone liked that. And then we had a lightning lane for Seven Dwarfs, but the littlest kids couldn't do it. And I had already done it. So I suggested me and my dad took the 2-year-old and the 4-month-old over to Cosmic Rays while everybody else did Seven Dwarfs. And that worked out well. Aiden, the 4-month-old, he fell asleep in his carrier, and Scarlett liked watching, what's his name? The DJ? I forget.
Mm-hmm. Sunny Eclipse.
Yeah, Sunny Eclipse. She liked him.
Mm-hmm.
She told her mom afterwards that she liked him. So we had lunch there, and everybody met us over there. Then we had a lightning lane for Tron. So my parents and CJ took some of the younger kids and did People Mover while we did Tron. And everyone liked Tron that did it. I had done it before, but I had only done it in the regular seat in the back. I had never done a motorcycle seat. So this is my first time, and I actually liked it better. I didn't feel it was as intense in the motorcycle seat than in the regular seat. But everyone liked that. Yeah, that was fun. Then we met back up with everybody. Some of us left. I left to rest. My kids and Jason stayed in the park, and I was back at the resort trying to find lightning lanes for them. And they did a lot during our break time. It was, yeah, I probably left the resort or left Magic Kingdom about 1. They did Little Mermaid, Barnstormer, Dumbo. They met Jack Sparrow. They did Country Bears, which was a sleeper hit. They watched that. They watched that a couple of times. They did Carousel of Progress. They got Dole Whips. They did Teacups, Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor, and they got snacks at Gaston's Tavern and Pinocchio Village House. So they did a lot.
They they did.
Yeah. We met back up at 5:15 for our reservation at Crystal Palace. They sat us pretty quickly. Again, this was one of those restaurants that their characters did not have good flow. We were waiting at the end, I think, for Eeyore, but the character interactions for me, this was the best of the trip. Like Tigger, we met Tigger first, and he kind of like Jason had his phone, was scrolling on his phone, and Tigger like pulled it away and like put it on the other side of the table. And then Rachel was trying to give him a blue marker, a blue Sharpie to write, and he like threw it across the room because he wanted to write with an orange marker. And then he like laid all over our table to sign. And then Piglet was also cute. He had talked about how he liked to clean and was cleaning that day. And I said, "Oh, tell my kids to clean." And so he was having fun with that. The food wasn't as good as 1900 Park Fare. We all liked that it was a buffet, and it was fine. It was good food. I would do it again. Jason's favorite characters are Winnie the Pooh, so it's always good to do that meal.
Mhm.
Then we had a lightning lane for Jungle Cruise, so we all did that together, which was fun.
Do you guys have a whole boat to yourself?
We did. Yeah, I don't think we filled up the whole boat, but most of the boat. Yeah, we did. Then we had, I think after that, Kathleen and her family left. Then we had a lightning lane for Tiana's. And Hannah, I think, had been on it a couple of times, or at least one time before, and convinced my dad to go in the front row with her. And they got completely drenched, like dripping wet. So my dad had to leave after that because it was cold and it was chilly outside and he was cold. But Hannah thought that was hilarious that that he had gotten so wet. The rest of us after Tiana's, did a lightning lane for Pirates, which was good. We wanted to see the parade that night, and I wanted to do fireworks too, but we didn't end up doing fireworks. So we headed to the hub, and I don't think my family realized, because we were doing all these lightning lanes. Like I had planned everything. So we were kind of doing one lightning lane to the next. We hadn't really waited in any lines that day. So when we got to the hub and saw the crowd for the parade, like I think they were like, "Oh, like this is a serious thing." So we ended up walking down the parade route towards Adventureland, and we ended up finding a spot right in front of Country Bears Jamboree and watched the parade from there. Yeah, I really liked it. I mean, I've never been to Disneyland, so I don't have anything to compare it to. I really liked the Rapunzel and Encanto floats. Those were good. I wanted to stay for fireworks. I wanted everyone to see the fireworks, but everyone was tired. So we went actually behind or next to Crystal Palace. There was a backstage exit that they had opened up. And that was the first time I had been backstage. The cast members were saying no phones. And so that was cool. I mean, it was not interesting at all. There was nothing back there, nothing exciting to look at. But it was cool to say that we went backstage. We wanted a picture in front of the castle at night. So we took that left around where the barbershop is and found a PhotoPass photographer and did a picture together. And then we took the bus back and got back to the hotel about 10:30.
10:30 after a big day, but you had one more day left, Friday, April 24th. How did you decide to spend it?
Because it was supposed to be a later night because we were supposed to be doing the fireworks. So we slept in a little. It was supposed to be, we called it a resort morning, and then we were heading to Magic Kingdom. So we did sleep in a little. Text started going around at about 8 a.m. we met at the playground at 8:30, which was right outside our room. This day, it got a little confusing with the lightning lanes because I had pre-booked for my family of 6, and when we had done our meetings before our trip and I had talked to people like, "Do you wanna do lightning lanes this day?" Everyone kinda said, "No, we don't need to do lightning lanes." But when we got there, they wanted all to do lightning lanes too, which was fine. So they bought lightning lanes. Just the availability was more limited. They wanted to do Tron, but it wasn't available for purchase. We did have Wait Magic, but I had used it I think 1 or 2 times towards the beginning, but some things when there's so many people and you're trying to move this herd of people through the parks, that was just something that I let go. It was like if I couldn't get a lightning lane, it was fine. So yeah, they did end up booking some lightning lanes, but it was just confusing in the app trying to figure out whose lightning lane was whose. We headed over to breakfast at the dining hall at the resort and did a little debrief. Just I talked with everyone what they liked, what they didn't like, what could have we have done differently. The kids wanted to do the pool one last time. So the pool opened at 10 and we did head to the pool and we were thankful this time to find a table with an umbrella right away. The kids did. Yeah, and it's nice that they have the life vest there too. So all the kids and the lifeguards. That's really nice.
Can you talk about the debrief?
Yeah, let's see. Let me go on my notes. Everyone loved the suites. They loved the 2 bedrooms, the separate spaces. We were the only family that had 6. The next family had 4. And I think they only used 2 of the beds, so they were able to leave the table down. It's really those 4 chairs on that stinking table that really get in the way. Let's see. Crystal Palace and Topolino, kind of things I've already said. Crystal Palace and Topolino's didn't have the good character order, but 1900 Park Fair did, and Cinderella's Royal Table. The ECV worked out great for my dad. The trip for the little kids, they thought it went as smooth as it possibly could. My dad said he liked getting soaking wet with Hannah and seeing her laugh on Tiana's. The Starlight Parade was a highlight for people. We had also had glow sticks that I had bought, and the kids really enjoyed handing out glow sticks to other kids that were around them. They liked the magic bands. The only thing that they wished the magic bands had was a clock in them. Like they kept going like this to look at the time. Like they wish they had a little bit more functionality, like for it to be an actual watch, which I thought Disney should get on that.
I mean, for the amount that they cost.
I know. Yeah. Seriously. Scarlett, the 2-year-old, her favorite was Aliens, and she loved the safari too. And my sister-in-law said that she loved using the fuel rods, that she liked changing those out at the resort throughout the day. Yeah.
And the reason you're doing a debrief is because for some people, they were leaving this day?
Well, it was we were going to have a full day at Magic Kingdom, like from lunchtime on, and their flights they were getting picked up from the resort at 3 a.m. So we weren't going to have like the evening time to kind of catch up and see what worked and what didn't. I mean, I felt bad for my younger sister, Kathleen, and her family because they have the 2-month-old and the 4-month-old. It just, when you're trying to do things with a whole group of adults and older kids, like I felt like they got left behind a little bit, but I don't really know how we could have. I mean, they would have just had to go on their own and do the things they know that would have worked for them, whereas they hadn't really planned on that. I mean, I had suggested a few things, but I don't think they were confident enough in their navigation at Disney skills to like go off and do the things that would have fit their family. But I think next time, they know for next time, they know what to expect and how to plan differently.
And they'll be in a different phase.
Exactly. Yep. They sure will.
Okay. So we are back at the pool.
Yes. We're at the pool. The kids love the pool. They could have stayed there all day, but we made them get out at about 11:30 because we were supposed to meet at the bus at 1, and so 3 of them were doing Cinderella's Royal Table, and they needed to have their hair washed and brushed out and everything. Some of the adults so our Cinderella's Royal Table was at 2, or no, Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique was at 2:30, and some of the adults had a lightning lane for Space Mountain before that. So I offered to take the littler kids to do Mickey's PhilharMagic while the adults did Space Mountain. So we did that, and my niece and nephew, they really got a kick out of Donald being stuck in the wall at the end of Mickey's PhilharMagic. Like, I haven't done that show in many years, and it was very sweet. It was very cute. I liked it. And I got to see Donald in his normal outfit, even though he was just a cartoon. After that, it was time to check in for Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique. I think we had gotten there like 10 minutes early and tried to check in, and the cast member was like, "No, we can only check you in 5 minutes early." I'm like, "Okay." So we stood like right next to the entrance and waited 5 minutes, and then walked up again and said, "Okay, here we are." We waited in the lobby for about 15 minutes, and they gave us an iPad where we could look at the dresses that they offered. Rachel's 9, but she wears about a 14, 16. So I was concerned that they wouldn't have a dress that she wanted in that size. So she was already wearing an Ariel dress that I had bought on Amazon for her. But as they were explaining things to us, they had 2 dresses in like extended sizes, and that was Cinderella and Aurora. So when we got into the shop to look at the dresses, Rachel had chose an Ariel dress and like an extended size Cinderella dress, and she tried on both of those. The Ariel dress just didn't work. It was too small, but the Cinderella dress did work, and she liked that, and it looked beautiful on her. So she did that one, and Christina chose Aurora, and Gavin was a knight. And I had never done a boy at Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, but it was really cute. They gave him a shirt that looked like a knight, and then at his makeover, they gave him a sword and a shield, and that was fun. I think my sister ended up saying that Gavin ended up with 6 swords on the trip from, Cinderella's Royal Table and different things. So he had his full of swords. So our appointment was at 2:30. But we didn't get called back into the castle until about 4. And
4?
Yeah. And that room, they had told us at the beginning, like, "Oh, because there's 3 of you, it might take a little bit longer." But that room, there's nowhere to sit. Kids are screaming and running, and yeah. So it was a little disheartening. But then once they call you back, we were in a separate room. Like, the room had 4 chairs for the kids, and then like 2 little couches. So that was cute. There was only the 3 of them in there. They were all together. Gavin's went really quickly. All they did was put gel in his hair and did some pixie dust and gave him his sword and shield, and that was it. The girls, they were in their chairs about 30 minutes. They both loved it. The pictures, they have a PhotoPass photographer in there, and they must know when exactly have their, certain beats of when to take their pictures, because the pictures turned out great. They each got a little necklace that's of like a pumpkin carriage, and it looks like a Mickey head, really. Rachel hasn't taken hers off. She's worn it since then. So yeah, that was a really great experience, except for being delayed. We got out of there about 4:30. So yeah, it was about 2 hours for the whole thing, which is not that much longer. They say 90 minutes.
I know, waiting 90 minutes. My gosh. And then were you able to then head to Sir Mickey's for photos?
Yeah, we did. So I was expecting I'd taken Hannah when she was 12. We did a trip, just me and her, and she did like her last Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique at 12 years old. So after her appointment, we walked over there and we took pictures together. But now the fairy godmother's there, which was really a great interaction. I thought she was a great character, but it it was too bad that we all couldn't. I mean, I guess we could have gotten in the pictures, but it was more a character meet and greet for the fairy godmother than it was to take like family pictures.
Mhm.
But those pictures came out. They came out really well. At about 4:45, we went to go get ice cream because the kids were hungry. I think it's Storybook Treats right around across near the carousel. And then we met up with the rest of the family at the carousel. At that point, Kathleen got Scarlett, the 2-year-old, into an Elsa dress. And then we took her back over to Sir Mickey's to get her little pixie dust. And she really liked that. That was cute. We then checked into Cinderella's royal table, and they want you to stay in the lobby, which is, again, there's so many people in there. There's nowhere to sit. They have you meet Cinderella first, which was good, but it was packed. And I think our reservation was about 5:30, and we got sat at about 6 p.m. The characters moved around the restaurant much more efficiently than they had in like Crystal Palace and Topolino's. I think by the time we had ordered, we had met all the characters. We met Aurora, Ariel, Merida, and Jasmine. I liked Merida the best. She spoke in her Scottish accent, and two of my kids, my older two, have red hair. So she talked about the kids' red hair, and that was cute. The food was good. I like the food here. We were at a table, so our tables weren't right next to each other. They were like one table away. We were at the far end in front of the windows in the corner. So it was a table of 8. So it was pretty squished. It was pretty squished in there, but we did okay. The service was good. I liked the whimsy of the desserts, like the cheesecake. The cheesecakes were yellow, like little wedges of cheese, which was very cute. Yeah, so we had a good experience there. Kathleen and her family, they left after dinner, but the rest of us, we headed to a lightning lane for Haunted Mansion. And because of everything that had happened with Christina and Gavin earlier in the trip, I just told the cast member, like, we're skipping the stretching room. We don't need to do that. And they liked it. But as I was going through it, I was like, this is actually really scary for for little kids. But they did okay. They were with their moms, so they were fine.
Mhm.
After we got out, it was dark, and my parents decided to leave. We did a lightning lane for magic carpets, and then they did the Swiss Family Treehouse. And my sister was like, "Why did you have me go through that? It's all stairs." And I'm thinking, I thought you knew, but I guess not. After the Swiss Family Treehouse, everyone decided to leave. I really wanted Rachel, especially to see the fireworks, but she was tired. And that was like one of my main goals on the trip, because just to let people listen to people and let them do what they want to do. In past trips, I've kind of been very regimented and like, no, we're doing this, and getting upset if somebody wanted to leave early. But I kind of just, hands off and
I think it can be frustrating when you know that they're missing something that they would like,
yes.
but ultimately it's their choice, I guess.
Yeah. So me and Rachel, we did shop on Main Street before fireworks started. We got a photo pass of just her and me on Main Street, and she was in her Cinderella dress. So that was really sweet. And she wanted to do some magic shots. So she did like a rainbow and Tinkerbell, and that was really cute.
Mhm.
I know Jason and Sean stayed behind this night. They had a lightning lane for Tiana, so they did that. And they saw Country Bears again. And then I think Jack had hopped over to Epcot to do, I had switched his, because he was originally supposed to do Tron, but I was able to switch it to Guardians, or add Guardians. And he was able to do Guardians one last time. And then we got into bed about 10:30.
This might be the first trip report where Country Bear Jamboree is more popular than Rise the Resistance.
Yeah. And I really wanted to see it, and I didn't get to see it, but that's okay. Next time.
So the next day was Saturday, April 25th, and people had flights home, but you and your family weren't till like late afternoon.
Yeah. So that night I was lying in bed and my sister-in-law Anna had texted me and said, "We have all these quick service and snack credits left. Do you want them? Or how do I get them to you?" I said, "Sure, we'll take them. All we need is a magic band." So she was able to give us my sister's magic band, which is very generous of her. Her, my sister Michelle and her family, and Kathleen and her family, they were all leaving the resort at 3 a.m. So there was no way that they could use those quick service credits. Their flight went smooth. They were texting us later that morning that they were home. My parents left the resort about 5:30 in the morning, and their flight was they were flying Southwest. They fly out of Hartford, Connecticut, and there's no direct, or they weren't on a direct flight. So they got home a little bit later in the afternoon, but still their flight was smooth. We woke up about 7. I dropped off my dad's ECV at about 9 at the front desk. Then we went to have breakfast and I was packing, all morning. The kids wanted to do the pool again, so they got right to the pool at 10 o'clock. I had tried the night before to do a late checkout. And when I had called, they said they were not available. So that was okay. They did the pool. I stayed and packed, but the kids did the pool from 10 to 10:45. They got out at 10:45, ran back to the room, changed, and there was literally like a housekeeper knocking at our door like 5 minutes before 11 saying like, "Do you need any towels?" I think she was trying to say like, "Get out of here."
Mhm.
But I was like, "No, we're leaving right now." So we got out of the room by 11. We did go to the store. I forget what the name of it is there at Music, and shipped the lightsaber and the droid because we were flying Spirit and I wasn't sure about their personal items versus these, this huge lightsaber, what they were going to charge us. So the Disney charged us $75 to ship both those things back home. They said it would take 2 weeks, which my son was pretty bummed about that. He's like, 2 weeks, we're used to Amazon where it arrives next day or same day. So 2 weeks seems like a long time for him.
So that was as the time we're talking, that was 5 days ago. You haven't received them yet, right?
No, we
Okay.
haven't gotten them. My dad had bought an arcade card, like a $50 card. So the two younger kids did play in the arcade, and then we did lunch at about noon and we used all the quick service credits up from us and from my sister. We had one table service credit left, and what I think happened is they just didn't charge us because we weren't supposed to have a quick table service credit left. Quick Silver picked us up at 1 p.m. because I did mirrors on our arrival day. I was expecting Quicksilver to be like nice black SUV or something nice, but the van that they picked us up in, it was definitely older. It was kind of a little trashed. It wasn't like I mean, we paid like $400 for them to take us back and forth to the airport. So I would probably go with a different car service next time. It just wasn't what I expected. But our flight was good. Our flight was at 4 and we were pulling in the driveway at 7 p.m. It was just a quick flight to Charlotte, smooth flight. So,
Okay.
yeah. And I have some cost stuff too, if you want to hear that.
I would love to. The lightning lane cost alone, we know, it's just shocking.
So let's see. Our package was $12,000.
And who is this for?
Okay, so this is for just my family of 6. It's 5 adults, 1 child. It was 8 nights at All Star Family Music. We had a 5-day base ticket. We had added the dining plan later. So initially our package was about $8,000. So I think the room was about $3,000 and the tickets were about $5,000. And then the dining plan was $4,000. So package, hotel, tickets, dining, $12,000. Lightning lanes were $1,800. Our flights luggage, parking at the airport, and the rides to and from the airport was about $2,400. I gave each of our kids, because, our kids are older, so I didn't want to have to be, trying to delegate who got to spend what and was it even. So I just transferred $150 to them each for spending money. And that was like for any extra snacks that weren't included on the dining plan. So that was $600. And then we had $1,200 in room charges, which that was like Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, tips for table service. $420 for the droid and the lightsaber. For some reason, that wasn't charged on our room. We paid $450 for our dog sitter and $1,500 for like outfits. We all had matching shirts and rain gear and other stuff. So it was over $20,000. I don't have the total on here, but yeah, it was over $20,000, which I was not expecting that.
No. I'm having such a hard time with Disney World costs these days.
Yeah. Yep.
But I appreciate you sharing it, though.
Sure.
All right. So overall, what did you think about traveling this time of year?
It was too hot. And it wasn't even that hot. Like I think our Animal Kingdom day was the hottest. It got up to 90 degrees, but the rest of the week, the high was low 80s. And still, like when you're out in full sun, like it just feels hot. I don't do good in the heat. And this was the first time that we had gone this late in the year. We normally go in January, February. So I would much prefer to go in the winter.
Mm-hmm. And then what about staying at All Star Music?
I liked it. I liked the room type that we were in. I would definitely stay there again if it was our family of 6. If it was just like me and one of the other kids, I would probably stay, at Pop Century, somewhere that has another form of transportation other than the bus.
And then what about the Disney dining plan?
I like the dining plan. Again, because I have older kids. Well, Jack especially, he ate a ton. So we really got our money's worth with him. Rachel was free. Again, some of the portions at the dining hall at the resort were small for her, but then at the other restaurants, at the parks, the portions were fine. I just didn't want to be nickel and diming them like, oh no, you can't have a soda, you have to have water, or oh no, you can't get a dessert tonight. Mm-hmm. So it felt, I don't think financially we came out ahead, but overall the feel of the trip it was good. It was a good decision for us.
Mm-hmm. And you had several character meals.
Yes.
So are there ones that you would repeat?
I probably would. Let's see. I mean, we would definitely do Crystal Palace again because Jason loves meeting the Winnie the Pooh characters. Yeah, I like trying different things. So I'm not set. I did like going to the Grand Floridian. It was really pretty there. I would do any of them again. I just don't know if I would do them the next time we go. Like, I like to switch it up.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So overall, seems like it was a pretty good trip, especially considering how many people there were.
Yeah, no, it was a great trip. I mean, my family, I think, was really appreciative of all the time and that I was willing to put in it. And it like I said before, it was fun for me. I think planning is more than half the fun for me. So it was great. We had a great time.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to share in addition to all of the planning and logistics that you had to manage during your trip.
Sure. Thanks, Shannon.
So did that total budget surprise you? It did surprise me a little bit. It did surprise me a little bit. If you're flying Spirit Air and you're staying at a value, you would think that you would get to spend a little less than $20,000, but they did do lots of special experiences. So that all adds up. We did continue chatting on Patreon. So if you would like to listen to the after chat, that is up right now in both video and audio form. That will wrap up this episode of WDW Prep to Go. For more information, please check the show notes in your podcast app or head to the website, wdwprepschool.com. Click on podcast at the top, scroll down to episode 513. Until next time, I'll see you on the site.